Well, we're definitely excited to get the season started this upcoming Saturday at home. I think we've had a good camp to this point. Our team understands what's at stake every week, and that is trying to prove yourself, go out and play your best brand of football. So we got to do that starting week one. We got an opponent from right up the road in Eastern Kentucky, had a successful season last year, 6-2 in their conference, went to the playoffs. Coach Wells has done a really good job coaching that football team. They play football the right way, fundamentally sound, and they'll come in here hungry and ready to go. So we've got to come out swinging, play our best football. I feel like we've practiced very well to this point, and that we are in good position to go out there and show up on game day and play a good brand of football.
Jeff, obviously, Isaac had a really good year last year. You talked about how you want to get in his hands. Opposing defenses obviously know that. How are you, I guess, kind of preparing him and then just kind of game planning for him being a target for other teams?
One more time, who were you asking about?
Isaac Brohm.
Oh, well, I think we've got a good stable running backs. Isaac, of course, leads the way. Duke Watson gives us another really good runner in the backfield. Keywan Brown gives us another element. We try to have good balance. So every week, no matter who we're playing, we've got to be able to throw the ball and run the ball. And whatever a team's doing may dictate what we do more of. But without question, Isaac will, doesn't matter who we play, we'll get plenty of touches. We'll get a chance to show what he's all about. I think he's had a good camp. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. And we'd be foolish not to make sure he gets enough touches no matter who we play. So I feel confident that we'll be able to do that a lot of different ways, and he'll play good football for us.
Jeff, what questions do you have that you right now that you hope to have answered Saturday?
Well, I think when you get into a game setting, you got to see, what guys are going to be able to concentrate, go out there and do the small things correctly and perform come game day. And, it's time to take the test. You got to show up and you got to ace the test. So really seeing what guys can do that and keep their composure, stay controlled, stay focused and locked in and do it all games. So, we've got a new quarterback. He's got to go out there and execute. He's got to deliver the ball to our playmakers. He's got to have poise in the pocket. We've got an offensive line that's new. They got to be consistent in what they're doing. We know we don't need a lot of penalties, a lot of holding calls, a lot of false starts, a lot of silly things happen. We've got a receiving core we feel confident about. They got to make plays. They got to show up on game day, and they got to make plays. And that's what playmakers do. And we talked about our running back crew. I think they'll do a good job. And got to continue to build the tight end room as well, which they need to show up and do good things, but I feel confident they will. And on defense, we've got to eliminate big plays, get pressure on the quarterback, and be consistent in what we're doing. And special teams, we've got to get an advantage. And with all that said, the first week sometimes have a lot of turnovers, a lot of fumbles, a lot of miscues, a lot of penalties. We have to try to be as clean as we possibly can week one and not allow that to happen.
Jeff, over the course of fall camp, you had a lot of good things to say about the various defensive position groups. With the season finally here, how bullish are you on that side of the ball for this upcoming season?
Well, we want to perform on defense, and I feel like we're very capable. And we've had a good spring, summer, and fall, and I want to see it on the field. And I think that there's been a lot of hard work put into how can we get better? How can we eliminate big pass plays? How can we still apply pressure on the quarterback? How can we still guard things tighter? How can we be sound in lining up properly, knowing the call, getting set before the ball snapped, being good in our substitutions pattern? All those things have to show up and happen, and I think we've made progress, but still we can't have a couple costly miscues that'll hurt us. So we've got to just prove it on the game field.
Jeff, throughout fall camp, looked like you had a pretty impressive group of wide receivers. Curious if you've made a decision or how close you might be to making a decision on who that number 3 might be, and how much of a rotation do you expect at wide receiver?
I think we can play multiple guys. That's a good position for us right now. I think Chris Bell and Colin Lacey are our 2 most experienced guys. They got to show up and perform. I think they've done outstanding to this point. Trayshawn Hurry is a newcomer that's really stood out, done a really good job. So him and Antonio Meeks will be at the other position and rotating in there quite a bit. Dakari Collins is another addition that has stepped up, and he's got size that the other guys don't have and can really do some good things. And then we've got some other newcomers, and Chris Hughes, who was here last year, that needs to make plays. Terrence McWilliams. So I think that room, will get plenty of action, and experience is good, and they got to continue to show out, and then the newcomers have to get on the game field and produce and know the call and execute it and do all the small things as well.
Jeff, the SEC moved to a 9-game conference schedule. The ACC is talking about doing the same thing. Just what are your thoughts on what that kind of looks like moving forward for you guys?
Well, I'm 100% in favor of moving to 9 games and have been for a while. I think, college football, in my opinion, should, for the good of the game, try to go to where you're scheduling the best opponents every week. And however many games that is, of course, I'm for as many as we possibly can, but I think it's important to play good competition every week for a lot of reasons. I think it's better for your team, and I think it's more enjoyable for the fans, and I think it's better for the game of football. So I hope that continues to happen, and the strength of schedule is something people look at, and we hope to do the same thing, but I'm sure probably we'll get to 9 games here soon as far as in the conference. And out of the conference, we've got a good slate in the near future that I would hope that we could continue to play all those games that are on our schedule: Kentucky, Georgia, Texas A&M, and all those.
Jeff, you talked several times in fall camp about finding the right mix at the offensive line. How many guys is the right mix, and do you feel like you're kind of there for a good rotation, opening week?
We have worked through that. I do think anywhere from 7 to 9, I think, are ready right now. That should be able to rotate in the game and play and do a good job. There's some other newcomers that are on the edge that just got to continue to work and get there. That if they see the field, you like to see them produce. So I think it's a good group. We got to keep certain guys healthy without question. Pete Nagaro is our starting center. He's a fantastic player, makes all of our calls. He's smart. We need to keep him healthy. And a couple other gentlemen have stepped up and done a good job that we'd like for those to stay healthy as much as we can. But we do have competition there, and we do have some young players that have stepped up and done a good job, and we hope to see that carry over to the game.
How has game week 1, opening game, for you personally, how has that changed over the years? Do you have a pretty set routine, or do you sleep much the night before? Do you still have nerves? How does it go for you?
Well, I always have nerves. I think nerves are good. So no matter who we're playing, you've got to have some nerves that are kicking in to make sure you're ready to go. I think it motivates you to work harder and to make sure when you go to bed at night, you put in all the work because you never know what can happen. And as soon as you, in my opinion, start feeling great about where you're at, someone will sneak up on you and things will go back the other direction. So I just think you got to all do your part. It's got to mean something to you. It's got to matter. Winning is not easy, so taking all the necessary steps to get there is vital to success for myself, our coaches, our players. And if you think you can take a shortcut, or if you think you can take a deep breath, that's when teams sneak up on you and beat you. So you can't allow that to happen. It's a long season, and every week you got to step up to the plate, whether you've had a good week the week before or whether you've had a bad week that's really not been fun to be a part of a couple days after. You've got to continue to get back up and go to work, because anything can happen, and this is a competitive game. And if you coach well, if you work hard, if you come ready to play on game day, you can beat anybody. At the same time, anybody can beat us as well.
You've talked about Miller a bunch, but as you're here on game week, just looking from when he got here in January until now, has he done everything that you wanted him to do at this point?
He has. I mean, for example, before I came down here, this is basically our player's day off on Monday, and he's over here, and our starting center's over here getting in extra work and stopping by to see us, and he's going to do everything he can to perform well. And we know what he needs to continue to work on. We've worked hard at it. Going out there and having poise and having command of the huddle and having command at that position and being able to make good decisions and, pass the ball accurately and, when things don't happen in rhythm, find a way to make a play or at least not do something negatively, like an interception or a fumble. We're working on all those things. So I think it's a position you just got to continue to work hard at. Don't ever think you've arrived. Something new will come up, and how you handle that will determine the type of success you have. But he's done a great job to this point, and I'm looking forward to him having a great year.
How much of the running game also rests on quarterback and good decisions and seeing things at the line or choosing the right option play or whatever he's doing? And is Miller kind of in that mold of guys you've had that have done a pretty good job at that?
I think he is. We try to have enough in the running game to throw some people off, and when we get into the ability to check some plays and to change some things, we try to keep it as simple as we can within reason. So I think all of our guys, once they study it, can understand that and execute it. Sometimes as coaches, we help them. Well, sometimes we'll tell them what to get into, and we'll control the cadence to make sure that happens. But, we were really good in our running game last year. Obviously, our running backs were good. The quarterback got us in the right play a few times. Our offensive line did a really good job, and we were really good at tight end. So, being solid at tight end as blocking units to our offense, being a solid fullback when we use one is important. All those different elements to running the ball are important to create holes and to create space for our running backs. So we've got to be good at all those, and we have a few new pieces. Mark Redmond was a great blocker at tight end last year. It really helped us. DJ Martin was a H-back fullback that was really, really good at blocking. And while our offensive line and running backs did great, those two components are not here, and we've got to get other components step in that can help us in the running game.
Jeff, you mentioned Eastern Kentucky and Coach Wells. Back in when you were playing, they were a program, a lower level program that dominated. They've kind of regained a little bit that the last couple of years. What have you seen, and how do you, I guess, first of all, how do you scout the first game when there's a lot of newcomers, a lot of different guys, and what have you seen with them and with Coach Wells and what he's done?
Well, Coach Wells has done a great job. I know him personally. He loves football. He loves the game. Really works hard to put his team in the best position to succeed. Of course, growing up, Coach Kidd was a tremendous coach there for years, and they've always played a good brand of football. So, like everything, I've been at Western Kentucky. When you're there, you got a chip on your shoulder. You're hungry. You're out to prove, what type of football you can play. So anytime you get a chance to play against, a Power 4 opponent, you're going to be ready to go. And these players will be licking their lips and ready to play football and show what they can do. And I'm sure Coach will have them ready to do that. So we've got to understand that like I said, on any given day, anything can happen, and we've got to step up to the challenge and be really good and be sharp and execute and make plays and be precise in what we're doing, because without question, EKU will come in here hungry, ready to play. Okay, thank you.
There was a partial, like last year. Justin, right, not the rest of them. Got it. But they will all, everything's going on YouTube. This year we'll go back to it. So if you go into the description, it'll timestamp everything by question for you. You can go right to the question you want. Yeah, that'll be on YouTube. If you go to YouTube. Yeah, youtube.com/GoCards. The video will be in the media portal. The bookmarks are on YouTube.
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are y'all doing today? Welcome to 2025, right? We're looking forward to seeing some other colored jerseys this week, and obviously we're excited about EKU. I'm sure y'all have some questions, but Coach Wells has been there for some time and will do a great job getting his guys ready to come in here and play football, and obviously we're excited about that. I know our guys are fired up to see something different than same color jersey all week, every day, and be able to compete and see how they match up. So they'll look forward to that as well.
Questions? Go ahead, Jenny.
Coach, your third fall camp with Coach Brohm, has there been anything different defensively this year of what you guys have done as a staff in the offseason to get, now you've got so many transfers and so many newcomers. Has there been anything you all have specifically done different to get to this point?
Well, Coach is he's such a strong attention to detail guy anyways, so I don't know if there was anything exceptionally new, but I will say starting immediately when we got back in the office in January, we started breaking down everything that gave us problems, from the past season, and then figuring out real reasons, why did this happen, and then what can we do to make it better, and obviously, no matter what, anytime you look at something, you're going to find things you want to do better. So there's a lot of things where we sat around, spent a lot of time talking through the issues. Is there a better way to put a player in a position to make that play? Is there a better call? Is there, whatever it happens to be, to give our guys the best opportunity to play fast and to be comfortable doing that. And Coach Brohm was hands-on, as well as, Coach English throughout the entire spring. And then, obviously we were on the road recruiting, but as soon as we got back off, it was right back to solving those problems. So we're hoping that it'll show up and be very effective for us all fall, not just this coming Saturday. But yeah, no doubt about it. It was a high priority to fix what wasn't working to make sure that it, benefits us all throughout the season. And there were a lot of things that we did very well. So to make sure that if there's a way to even do that better, or at least keep those things consistent, be more consistent with them.
When you have a veteran like TJ, who's kind of the leader in your in your room there, how I don't want to say easy, but is he another coach almost out there?
Well, TJ, you said TJ, right? Yeah, TJ Quinn, you're referring to. This is this is his 5th year here, and this is his 3rd year as a starter, and I think he's done some really good things in the past 2 seasons. But I don't think there's any doubt he is a really different animal. As far as watching him in the spring, but then also, during fall camp, I see him doing things that I don't think he was comfortable doing, either knowledge-wise, personality-wise, or anything else. And now, he realizes I've got one more shot at this, so there's nothing to be reserved about. I've seen him moving some pieces, whether it be our other linebackers, whether it be defensive linemen, whether it be, safeties, just the communication, and they all work with each other in a they're working together to make sure that we get in the right spot when the ball gets snapped, and then when the ball is snapped, that we execute. So TJ has done a fantastic job, and he's never done a poor job at that, but he's definitely done it's a different ball game for him right now. And that's something you don't see as much of in today's world, because players are all over the country in different defenses, on different teams. And anyway, slice it, even a very smart player is not going to develop as he would if he can stay in the same system with the same coaching staff and all that kind of stuff. So I think that benefits him, and in turn it will benefit our defense throughout the year, no doubt.
Mark, I'm curious about the other TJ in your room. He's kind of been slowed by injuries after he got here, but now that he's entering his third year? How's he progressed through fall camp and as game week is here?
Well, he certainly has had some things that have hindered him, no doubt. When he came in, it was well known that he was rehabilitating and rehabbing that knee that first year. And then last year, very unfortunately, he hurt his hand week 2 or 3. I can't remember. It was early in the season, but was really starting to do some good things at that time. But right now, and I think coaching football years ago, you expected a guy kind of to come in and progress and learn. And now I think a lot of times we expect somebody's going to show up and they're going to be plug and play and life is good. But for TJ, I give him credit. There's been some frustrations. Anytime you expect to come in as a highly recruited guy and in your mind, I'm going to be able to participate and contribute early. But now, I think he's seeing now, hey, I have been in, same thing for him. Now, this is his third year in the defense, obviously a very limited role when you're rehabbing and working. But now he is starting to see some of the benefits of that. And I can tell you this, he is on a day-to-day basis, and I think all those guys are. This is a really, when I say inquisitive group, like as soon as they come off the field, the maturity level is different right now because they're asking football questions and they're talking to each other about what just happened on the field, what's the next call, and that's very important. It should be like that all the time, but to say that it always is would be incorrect. And he's done a really good job mentally of sitting in our room, which is right next door, and every day asking, was that the right way to do it, Coach? Is there a better way to do it? And he does it every day. So I'm expecting big things out of TJ Capers is the one you're asking about. I think he'll do an excellent job this year. And it's time for him to do so in his third year here. So,
Mark, while there's no film on this specific EKU team, this is a program that is coming off an appearance in the FCS playoffs. So when you're kind of watching what Walt Wells-led programs do and what they do well, like what's something that kind of stands out when you're watching film on just how his programs operate?
Well, and other than maybe a coach or two, they've retained just about everybody, so you think there's going to be some growth. Now, it is interesting, across the entire country, you're going to see new faces on every team. And, there's no doubt for them, their roster is much, much different than what we've been studying and looking at. But with most of the staff being there, the position coaches and the offensive guys, I think we're going to see some similar things. I'm sure they're going to have some wrinkles. They're going to have some things that they've seen on us where they think, hey, we might be able to get something. But, they do a great job of making you discern between run and pass, trying to make it very difficult not to give you anything easy to where you can just line up and tee off on them either way. They're going to make you defend both. And they've got some really balanced things that they do to make you, to try to put you in a precarious situation where you are stuck in the run and they're hitting you for the pass and vice versa. So, but they do a good job. Now, I'll tell you this, watching them play, there were some games last year where they were down by some points and they came back and won. So, one thing about it, and a couple times it was, double-digit deficits, and they just kept battling, and ended up winning those ball games. And you mentioned, I think they won 8 games last year, and in the playoffs, you're talking an inch from advancing, on that last play of the game to the second round and another victory and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know him personally. I've got some friends that are very close with him. I know he's a quality football coach that has always produced at many, many different places at different levels, and I would expect the same on Saturday. He's going to do a lot of things to try to put us in positions that'll be advantageous for them, and we've got to obviously avoid that and continue to play fast and work through any tough times we have during the day, no doubt. Good. Thank you.
I believe it's going to be Pete and Bailey.
No, you don't, nobody needs that. Just for you, just for, yeah. And they're not transcripts. We're not transcribing. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to record them. It's up to us. Yeah. Again, unless you're just so right. They got a stretch with it. Can't, that was a loss. Oh, yeah. Stay right across the road. Oh. On the west turf. Well, grass like feels always good. That's not where the Stephen was. Yeah, it is. Oh, that's why.
Pete Niagara, West Bailey.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Great.
I'm doing blessed, thank you.
Guys, for both of you, how different is it this week? Do you feel like, you're both veterans, you've played in a number of seasons. That opening game, how different is it in practice, and how does the energy kind of ramp up?
I'll say one thing, end of the day, football, you only guarantee 12 games, and so you spend most of the year training with your guys and going against your brothers. So I think, like, anytime you get an opportunity to play on Saturday or go against someone else that isn't your brother or your teammate, it's always exciting. There's a lot of tension build up going against guys like Pete, going against guys like Sheed over and over again. Finally, you get to go against someone in a different color jersey to be able to, end of the day, showcase your talent against a different opponent.
Yeah, just with the energy aspect, and obviously in training camp going against, the same guys every single day, sharpening each other's swords, getting each other better, obviously for these 12 games that are about to play. When game week finally gets here, everyone's excited. There's a new energy, still working hard, still having the process of getting better every single day. But, you get to go play someone different on Saturday, start playing games, and that just brings a whole new level of excitement for the season.
Pete, how much have you spent time in the preseason, not just working on your game, but kind of coordinating with all the new guys that you're playing next to? And then Wesley, sort of that same vein from your standpoint, getting to know people in the system.
Yeah, a bunch of time. Obviously, those are the guys that I'm going to be playing with, and Wes is going to be playing with. So getting them incorporated into our system, our culture, our team is everything. And they've done a fantastic job of taking the coaching and taking the leadership that we provided.
Yeah, definitely on that standpoint of like learning your teammates, like playing with guys in the interior like Jordan Garrard, Renee Conga, with Denzel. Just seeing what type of, in terms of the pass rush game, seeing what type of rushers they are. If they're more vertical, as a DN, I can't be as vertical, then not be on the same level. just making sure we have the correct spacing when it comes to the pass rush. So just knowing your teammate, being able to have a correct balance rush is very important.
Both of you guys, going back to the week one aspect, obviously it's different because it's the season opener, first game after the offseason. But for both of you guys, with it being your last first game of the season, how does that aspect kind of hit differently for you guys?
Man, it's, every time you get to dress up and put that uniform on, it's always a blessing, And like I said earlier, you only guarantee 12 games, so just seeing this journey and how far I came, it's definitely a blessing, In the day, getting to line up and play with guys like Pete, your brothers essentially. It's a blessing from God every time I suit up and put the helmet on.
Yeah, it's something I'm going to enjoy for sure. It's my 5th year of college, and it goes fast. Everyone tells you, I enjoy college, it goes fast. You don't believe them when you're a freshman in training camp, and it's day 5 in a row of pads and everything, but it does go fast, and you learn to enjoy, and like Wes said, we're just blessed to have the opportunity to play this game we love and just excited to go play this Saturday.
No doubt.
Wes, following some of the scrimmages we've heard from coaches and players about the defense and kind of really the violent performance you guys are putting together, how would you describe what the performance and the play of the defense as a group has been in those scrimmages?
It's exactly what you said, is violence, And I feel like when people talk about violence, they think about, stumping pads, whatever. End of the day, it's violently getting to the ball and having that violent communication pre-snap. You see a motion or you check to empty, whatever that check is, having that violent communication from the safeties to the field corner to the D-line. So you talk about communication, ask point, violent, and as a D-line, obviously striking first, we're the first guys to make contact, setting that tone every single play, down after down, the violent mindset we have to have.
Obviously, it's a lot of, experience as far as skill players go, running back rooms loaded, a lot of good wide receivers. Pete, how explosive can this offense be? And then, Wes, what's it like going against him? How much better does that make you or you guys?
This offense can be one of the best in the country this year whenever we execute at a high level. We're full of talent, hardworking individuals that love this team and want to go win a lot of games. So really the sky's the limit for this offense and this team as a whole.
Yeah, no, definitely. Going against an offense like that, you don't know what you're going to get next play. Look, the playbook they have is versatile, deep. And so being a defensive player, I'm seeing players that I've never seen before. And I'm talking to Coach Hagan, I'm like, what should I do in this standpoint? So, yeah, definitely, Jeff Brohm does a great job with the offensive playbook and having a wide range of passing plays, run plays, and whatnot.
You guys both just kind of spoke a little bit to what you think overall expectations for this team are, but nobody really knows much about any team because all the new players, but especially Louisville, it seems like outside of Louisville, there's not huge expectations. You've been a part of practice. What do you think people are going to see from this team that they don't realize maybe?
End of the day, I feel like people like to think down the road aspect. End of the day, we're just focused on being 1-0 at the end of this week. So EKU is our opponent on Saturday, so we're excited to play EKU on Saturday. But at the end of the day, we have high expectations for this team, putting the work in. We have a lot of great guys, great people, great football players, but also great men off the field.
Yeah, we talk about, 1-game contract, 1-game season. So our goal each week is to go 1-0, and we do that every single week. You're going to be sitting pretty happy with yourselves, at the end of the year.
Pete, you've been here for 2 years now, and you know how Coach Brohm operates a game week. It's no different if it's Clemson or Eastern Kentucky, is it? And how do you, as a player, focus so much on this week, knowing that, you guys are heavy favorites?
Yeah. Well, Eastern Kentucky's a good team, number one. Just watching film on them, they made the playoffs last year, in the FCS. So they're a fantastic team. But like I kind of talked about on my previous answer, you treat each week the same. You treat each opponent the same. It's a 1-game season. You focus on going 1-0 that week, and then as soon as that game's done, win or loss, you move on to the next one.
Thanks, guys.
There you go.
Appreciate you. Y'all have a good day.
One of you all taking back that top set. You see that like on the wall? Right. Michael's this year.
Had mine on it.